Joe Biden campaign just launched their first ad of 2024, and I have to say, I cannot believe how f***ed up this is. So the race is on. It's 2024, and we know that this is an election year, and things are about to get completely insane. And Joe Biden already coming out with their first ad of the year. Talk about alienating and basically calling a ton of the population terrorists. And he's talking about a lot of you. They're trying to paint you as a domestic terrorist. They are trying to instill fear in the Democratic Party. And I can't believe it. I cannot believe this is a real ad. When I first saw it on Twitter, I was like, there's no way that's real. Somebody made that up. No, this is real. So we're going to watch it, and then I'm going to react, and I want to know what you think.
I've made the preservation of American democracy the central issue of my presidency. I believe in free and fair elections and the right to vote fairly and have your vote counted. There's something dangerous happening in America. There's an extremist movement that does not share the basic beliefs in our democracy. All of us are being asked right now, what will we do to maintain our democracy? History's watching. The world is watching. And most important, our children and grandchildren will hold us responsible. The Vice President and I have supported voting rights since day one of this administration. And I ask every American to join me in this cause. America is still a place of possibilities where the power resides with we, the people. That's our soul. We are the United States of America. There is nothing beyond our capacity when we act together. I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
I'm going to play this again, and I'm going to react, but all I have to say is I cannot believe that they put that out. That's the basket of deplorables that pissed a lot of people off with Hillary Clinton, right? You are the basket of deplorables. You are domestic terrorists, according to these people. Anybody who supported what happened on January 6th, you know what I mean by supported, who understand what actually happened on J6. We know exactly what happened, and we know that they're using it now to try to gain power. I'm just going to go through it and react to it because there's some things I want to say about certain things that he says in the video. So let's start it over.
I've made the preservation of American democracy the central issue of my presidency.
First of all, it sounds like he has just a big wad of shit in his mouth. It's like he's drunk. He can't even enunciate words. Already, I can't. I just can't.
I believe in free and fair elections and the right to vote fairly and have your vote counted.
Okay. Point number one, we want to vote fairly. We want your vote counted. Now, I personally do not partake in these elections because I know what a sham they are. But if you do, you already know that they've already removed Trump from 2 ballots so far, and they're going to continue to try to do it. He's off in Colorado, he's off in Maine, and I look for that to continue. I think that they're just going to do whatever they can, pull him from whatever ballot they can, and try to silence this man instead of letting the democratic process play out the way that it should. Now, I'm not going to get into how I feel about it again, where this is going to focus on this video. These elections are controlled whether we want to admit it or not, because we only have the choice of 2 parties and usually 2 candidates.
There's something dangerous happening in America. There's an extremist movement.
An extremist movement. Something dangerous happened in America. Yeah, you're right. Something dangerous did happen. An election was outright stolen from the people through voting machines and mail-in ballots. There is so much evidence out there that shows this now that I can't believe more people aren't demanding that there be transparency on both sides, on the left and the right. There is enough information out there right now at this point. We should all be united behind fixing our electoral process. But no, that's not what we have. We have a lot of people on the left. He gaslights them. They believe it. And that's why this ad alone, I believe, is the premise for civil war. Removing Trump from the ballots, putting out ads like this, making you seem like the enemy to these people. This paints you as the enemy of the United States, and a treasonous enemy. If you supported Donald Trump, if you understand what really happened on J6 and you're not buying into the narrative, you are an extremist. You are a danger to American democracy. And that is how they're painting you. And this is the that they got on Trump. Trump goes to these rallies and he says all this hateful stuff about people and the left and all this other stuff. What the is this then?
Does not share the basic beliefs in our democracy.
Does not share the basic beliefs in our democracy. Think of the irony of that statement. What do you think they were there trying to protect? And I love how they put that noose here. Like that noose is real. I don't buy that. If you want to know Fed involvement, that's the part I believe the feds were responsible for. That's one of the things. And that wouldn't hold a person anyway. That is a Fed setup right there. And look how they just perfectly framed that picture. It's like they had this ad planned back there. So they took this picture with the Capitol through that gallows, if you even want to call it a gallows. But yes, these people do understand. This is why they were there, because democracy is important to these people. The election is important to these people. That is why they were there.
All of us are being asked right now, what will we do to maintain our democracy?
Well, I can tell you a good start is by not taking your political opponent off of the ballot. Maybe that's step number one. Step number two, get rid of electronic voting, get rid of voting machines, get rid of mail-in ballots. We are at a point in history that we don't need to depend on things that can be hacked. We don't have to depend on mail-in ballots and voting machines. Voting machines can and were hacked. It is very well known. That has been happening since the Bush v. Gore election, and somebody even testified in Congress how easy it was to hack the voting machines. And the same company that made those, the Diebold machines, that was the company that made the voting machines back when Bush v. Gore. And then the new one, Dominion, that's the same company. And the voting machines haven't changed. And do you think it's a coincidence that Joe Biden won all the voting machine states during the primaries and Bernie Sanders won all the caucus states? That is no coincidence.
History's watching. The world is watching. Most important, our children and grandchildren will hold us responsible. The Vice President and I have supported voting rights since day one of this administration.
Have supported voting rights since day one. Do you know what's sad? Is a lot of people on the left are going to believe this outright propaganda. They're going to buy into it. They're going to believe it. They're going to go with it. And you are going to be their enemy. And this is going to start physical violence because they think that Trump is a terrorist and an extremist, basically in the same vein as Hitler. And so they will do whatever they can to keep him out of power, while you are going to do everything you can do to get him back into power. And when I say that is the premise of a civil war, it doesn't have to be a war of weapons. I believe personally we've been in an ideological civil war for years, many, many, many years. But I think it's going to definitely start escalating into something a little bit more physical and a lot more dangerous. Will it be an outright, neighbor versus neighbor with weapons and stuff? No idea. Could it be? Yes. With this kind of rhetoric, that is what you're pushing. This is what they said Trump was doing his whole campaign. This is worse.
And I ask every American to join me in this cause. America is still a place of possibilities where the power resides with we, the people. That's our soul. We are the United States of America. There is nothing beyond our capacity when we act together. I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
I'm sure you do, Joe Biden. I'm sure you approve that shitty ass message. So I want to know what you think. Please let me know in the comments. But I got to say, I'm floored that this is an actual ad that they put out. And I guess I'm looking forward to what Trump puts out in retaliation. I don't know. The minute you think it can't get any worse, they shock you with something like this. You are now a domestic terrorist extremist. What are you going to do about it? I'm curious in the comments. I really am. Let me know. Thanks to you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.